Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, and it's Monday morning, so that means it's time for another GT Sport Daily Race at Sea strategy guide. This week we are heading to Autodromo Nazionale Monza with no chicane. We're in Group X machinery, which we now know to be the Red Bull Junior. I did have this video made up in sort of preparation for that being the car. That had been my prediction. But due to a few audio recording issues, I'm now sort of doing this a couple of hours after the races went live. Onto the settings for the race. We've got 11 laps, we've got fuel at times 2, tyre wear at times 16. We only have the hard tyre available, so no mandatory tyre for this one, and it's a grid start with a false start check. So before we get into the action, we'll just quickly take a sort of quick summary of the circuit we're going to be visiting. As I said, it's Monza with no chicane. Situated in northern Italy, just outside Milan, 5.7 kilometres long, 9 corners, and it's of course a power circuit with all those straights. Taking a quick look at turns 2 and 3, that's the first chicane in the no chicane layout, and that's where all the action's going to happen in this one, I predict. And finally the Ascari chicane towards the end of the lap, named after the famous Italian Formula 1 driver from the 50s. So it is a grid start with a false start check, so I did think it was worthwhile checking out whether you're better to start with traction control or not to start with traction control. So the first start there is done with no traction control. We're just up against the AI cars. It's always a good sort of benchmark testing against the AI cars, because one thing they can do is launch a car off the line. So you can see pretty much the same kind of start as the AI cars there, even with no traction control. We're comfortably able to get down into the first corner in the lead. So the second start here is with traction control on. You sort of take traction control off as soon as we move into second gear, and as we look behind, we should look behind anyway, you can see I reckon we've got a slightly bigger lead over the AI cars there. So I would probably recommend starting with traction control on. I think you just get a slightly better launch that way. Moving on to some race action, we'll take a quick look at the fuel. The fuel's only at times 2. We're not in a very powerful car. It should come as no surprise that fuel is not going to be an issue for this one. I think we've actually got enough fuel to maybe even do the race 3.5 times over. Now moving on to the actual race strategy. Now despite the fact the tyre wear is set at times 16, if you've ever sort of driven the Red Bull Junior, you will know that it is very kind on its tyres. It's a very light car, and it's not got a whole lot of power, so it sort of doesn't really put too much energy through the tyres. Cross that with a circuit like Monza, which is also fairly light on tyre wear, and it was pretty obvious that this one was going to be a no-stopper. So that was the first strategy we were going to do here to take a look at anyway. I did very few laps to get up to speed. This was just a case of sort of putting 11 laps together and seeing how the tyre wear was looking towards the end of the race. Now we're at the halfway point now, we're in the middle of lap 6, this would be the halfway point of an 11 lap race. You can see there's very little tyre wear so far. We're still set in purple sectors. That's probably just down to as much of the fact I'm starting to get the hang of the car as the laps go down. But it is fairly obvious at this point that the car's going to have no trouble doing 11 laps with the tyres. So here we sort of move forward onto that last lap. We're coming down towards the Ascari chicane for the last time on lap 11. We did actually do this testing within a lobby. Obviously we had to sort of do the testing there because the tyre wear is at times 16. A custom race will only let you put the tyre wear up to times 10. Into the Ascari chicane we come there. We have a little bit of a moment. I was actually trying to set a fastest lap on the last lap here, just to kind of reiterate how much the tyres were holding up. We did set the fastest lap on lap 9. It was a 43.699. That included an absolutely horrendous last sector. I think the optimal is sort of more representative of the kind of lap times you should be looking to do. Sort of low 43s if you're an A+ driver. Into Parabolica we come, out the last corner, and it's a blast to line 2, complete lap 11. And as you can see, the tyres are absolutely fine. Maybe worn around about 10% on the front, and maybe around about 15% on the rears. Now one thing, just to sort of point out, I did start initially on -1 as my brake balance, but I think you want to be at least at -3, just to try and look after the rear tyres. Maybe even -4 if you're finding the tyres the rear tyres are wearing out just a little bit too much. The car is kind of rear limited and can get a little bit slidey on the rear as the sort of laps tick down, so do bear that in mind. So it does very much look like it's a no stop race for this one, but I always like to do my due diligence and test the pit loss just in case it can surprise me. I had no idea what kind of pit loss to expect with the Red Bull Junior. So we did set up a custom race and did a pit stop just to set an idea as into how much time we were going to lose. We came in ahead of the AI car by 3.3 seconds. And this is the issue here. As you come out the pit, you're obviously going a lot slower than the cars around you, and you kind of carry a speed deficit all the way down to the braking point for the first chicane. So you actually end up losing so much time from here down to the first corner, and it comes in around about 8.8 seconds as a loss for making a pit stop. So with the best will in the world, there is absolutely no way you're going to make that back up with the fresh tyres. You'd have to be if you pitted on lap 5 or 6, you've got to be lapping 1.5 seconds a lap quicker over the course of the rest of the race, and also passing other cars to make that strategy work, and that's just not going to happen. So let's take a look at a racing lap in the Red Bull Junior around Monza with no chicane and do a little bit of a lap guide. Now for this lap we do have the brake balance at -4. As I said earlier in the video, we had moved it to sort of counter that tyre wear. So down the main straight we come into Curva Grande here. It is absolutely full throttle, should be full throttle even with a slipstream. So we're going to look out for the little path on the right hand side there. You want to be braking just before that. Avoid the bumps, the curbs sorry, on the chicane, particularly the orange curbs. They will absolutely throw the car off if you hit them in the wrong way. Into Lesmo 1, you're just looking to carry as much speed as you can into here. Get on the throttle as early as possible. Lesmo 2 is more important, braking just at the 50 metre marker, where we get on the throttle as early as possible for this one. Does have a long straight preceding it, and you're going to be carrying whatever speed you come out that corner all the way down here towards a scary chicane. Scary chicane can be pretty tricky. You can brake a little bit later than you normally would in a Group 3 car, so you look for the path on the right hand side, brake just after that. Again, avoid those big curbs on the inside. Just be careful of the curbs in general throughout the whole circuit in this car. Doesn't seem to ride them very well at all. Out of Scary we come, we're on another long straight down towards Parabolica. You're looking for the sort of 100 metre and 50 metre board for this one, braking just in the middle of them. Down a couple of gears, you can either do this corner in 3rd or 4th, and again, just a case of getting on that power as early as possible. And that is us heading towards the finish line for a lap of Monza. So as I said, only a 43.6, optimum was at 43.2, we were actually on for a 42.9 at one point. On lap 12 I actually decided, once I'd done the 11 laps, to go for another lap, and we were on for a 42.9, which just again sort of reiterates just how little an effect the tyre wear is having on the car as the sort of race goes down. Anyway, that's my thoughts for this one. This is most definitely a no stop in the Red Bull Junior. Not really a surprise there, to be honest with you. I can't remember any daily race or FIA race in the Red Bull Junior that has not been a no stop. I could be corrected on that one. Not my cup of tea, I have to say. After a couple of really good weeks of daily race C, I think Group 1 at Sardinia, and then last week's race, the Group 3 at Fuji, where there was kind of multiple strategies and sort of options to sort of tackle the race. That's definitely what I'm looking for in the sort of daily race C. I'm just not a fan of these sort of no stops. I find them very boring, and I just can't really get too much enthusiasm for them, to be honest with you. Also, I think this race with this car and the sort of penalty system the way it is at the moment, this is going to be an absolute killer for your SR. That first chicane is going to be the scene of many a complaint, many a dive bomb, and also those curbs are going to sort of just, see a lot of people end up in the gravel that way. But yeah, that's my thoughts for this one. It's definitely a no stop. If you're taking part in this race, then hopefully the guide has been useful to sort of give you a few hints and tips at the very least, even if the strategy was fairly obvious. I do wish you good luck if you go for this one, and look after that sportsmanship rating if you can. We're going to be back on Tuesday. We're actually going to do round 15 of the Nations. We're going to do a strategy guide for that one. It's Group 2 at Fuji. I actually think it's maybe a little bit more interesting than I initially thought. We also have a video out on Wednesday as well, or sorry, probably Tuesday for the manufacturers. So please do join me for them. If you like what I'm doing in the channel, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button. But until the next video, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye now.